Hey everyone, in this video I'll be breaking down the strongest pals in each type in Palworld's 1.0 update. This will be a breakdown of their base stats, and you can see here, Eidolon is insanely strong with almost a 7,000 attack stat. But in addition, we'll be looking at partner skills and the synergies and how they work together, like applying burn and then getting boosts to the attack off of that. Some of the strongest being burn, poison, and blind, with some new pals that are able to buff those up. And to keep this as consistent as possible, they'll have the max possible IVs. They'll also be with partner skill level 5 just for the sake of comparison. And the partner skills I'll be using is Demon God, Musclehead, Ferocious, and Serenity. This is best for pure damage, although you can throw Vampiric on to give them some life sustain or immortality. And first, I'll start off with neutral pals because there's a new one that is extremely powerful. But for this, we're looking at like a three-way tie. Essentially, we got Solen, Palladius, and Hartalis here. Now, Hartalis has the strongest possible attack stat. They also have a lot of different moves with their they have the Ivy Burst here, which is going to be able to apply Wind Burst, which will apply Ivy covered, making it great on a fire themed team. But you see here, 4,000 attack. So this is again without any other upgrades other than max stats and condensed. They do have the Purifying Light here, which is a great attack, which has a pretty huge area of effect, and the attack itself has a 1250 attack power. They also have Sacred Rain here too, so a lot of really powerful attacks in Hartalis. This is a very strong pal, also great on the base with gathering and lumbering skills being quite high. They also get Holy Burst, which is one of the best if you're just going around and taking out a bunch of enemies all at once. So they do have also things like Divine Wing here. So they have multiple exclusive skills, making them a very strong pick here. They also can learn a lot of different ones as well. So this is, if you want a very offensive pal, a great choice. Now, Palladius is really cool. This is one of the fastest ground mounts in the game, but to get the most bang for your buck with this pal, you would want to pair it with Necromus here, who, whenever you have them out, they don't have a double jump compared to Palladius' triple jump, they move faster. And when they use their signature skill, so Twin Spears for Necromus and Spear Thrust for Palladius, the other one will pop out if it's in your party, making this great for, if you want to run with a neutral and a dark in your party. But my honest opinion, I think that the best neutral pal is actually Solen. This is going to get the most use on builds. Now, I want to clarify, it's not as strong as the other pals in terms of its damage output. You can see there, it is a little bit weaker in its defense and attack than Palladius and much weaker than Hartalis. However, that's not to worry because it is boosting the player's damage by 80% if all pals are a different species. And this is very generous because you can run both Gobfin and Gobfin Ignis to get yourself 120% damage boost to the player, which is incredible because the player can do some crazy stuff with a new weapon. So I honestly think Solen is probably the best neutral in the game. You're going to use this on a wide variety of different team builds. However, if you want to run with Hartalis or Palladius, these are both good options. Neutral type is a bit weird. This is also a dark type as well, but with this, it's also great with high handiwork as well. Now, water types are some of my favorites. We have a lot of really strong ones here. So what Panthalus here does best is its insane amount of health. It has like 20k health right now. Its attack is 3,777 there compared to like Xiaolong, who's got 4,200, or Neptilius, who's got 4,500. We also have Yormantide here, which is really great too, and Ophidia. So the water type just has a lot of great choices. If you want to have someone that protects your base, Panthalus is the best. They fly around and shoot at targets. They also do have their own unique skills, Aqua Tornado, which is really powerful to find enemies. The Grand Breach as well. Really good, powerful attacks that are unique to Panthalus. But Xiaolong, another great choice. It can be ridden as a flying mount, and its attack will get increased for every other dragon in our party. So this is great if you want to run an Eidolon party, which is one of my favorites in the game right now, making them a very strong pick because they get an 8% attack boost for every dragon type that is in the party. Now, Neptilius here, fastest water mount. You can also take this against Panthalus, and it's really strong because he gets moves like Thunderstorm naturally. But he also has really powerful attacks with the Thassassonic Laser here, and this one has a huge area of effect as well. But highest attack stat of all the pals. It doesn't have the highest defense, that goes to Panthalus. So these three would be the top three for water types. Now let me know in the comments if you want to see a top 5 best pals per type. I may do a video on that in the future. But also honorable mentions here for the Watertide, Yormantide, and Ophidia. These two work together in tandem because with Ophidia's special skill here, you inflict Soak 6 on your attacks. This is amazing because Yormantide makes it so you deal additional damage to those afflicted with Soak by 65%. And it's a cool looking pal as well. This also has a pretty decent ride speed too, but Ophidia is nice being a dual type here and being able to buff up the player so much. Soak will make it take double electric damage. So this fits very well in electric teams. You can stack both of these together for some great results. I also like to pair something like Prickster, Lux, Beacon, or Hell's Effort to turn your attack types electric so your guns can deal that damage and do some crazy stuff. But also going to mention quickly, Azarobe can change your attacks to water type, and if a target gets electrified, they take more water damage. So this can be a good choice as well. And if you take advantage of the Pure here as a neutral type, it reduces the partner skill cooldown by 50%. So that is a good one for natural or neutral types. But the top 3 best water types, I'd say Panther is probably the best. Infinite stamina if you use it as a mount as well. Xiaolong, just really good in general, has a lot of good attacks. And if you go for a full dragon team, this would be the best water type. And Neptilia is just the highest possible attack stat for the water type there. Strong pal and a great choice. You can't go wrong with either 3 of these. Now, as is tradition, grass types in games like these are typically more support-based. We look at that with Ophidia, again, with the Soak. This is one of the best grass types, but Sylvans, you can see here, 3777 for their attack. Dandalord is amazing. I really do enjoy Dandalord. They have some of the coolest animations in the game. This is the highest attack stat for grass type, 4203 there, and it also has a skill that lets you apply poison. Poison being really crazy, as you can throw on Prickster and deal a 65% increase in the overall damage. And you can also throw on Bakemi here, another dark type, so 2 dark types that are amazing, reducing the damage taken by 80%. It is pretty crazy because, yeah, you can bring this out, your attacks will inflict poison. And it's also a really good base pal because it has all those skills associated with it. So it also comes with some fun attacks. It's got the Toxic Dance there, which can leave a poison mist on the ground. Poison Promenade, another poison attack that's got. It also has Wind Burst, which is a great grass type. And it can learn a lot of different different moves from a variety of different types here as well. I think Dandalore looks really cool too. This is, in my opinion, the strongest grass type, but I want to give it a mention to Lylene. Lylene Noct as well, because this can restore your entire team's party by 90%. This is crazy. It gives your team so much sustain. So Lylene, the GOAT. It does have the same attacks as Sylvans here, which Sylvans is really good for a few reasons, most notably highest attack here, but it also has when the player attacks an enemy inflicted with Ivy cover, it explodes that target, dealing 60% of the damage to an area of effect. You can also apply Ivy Covered by throwing on Needle Knocked, which will make your attacks apply Ivy Covered. Needle, which will increase the damage dealt against Ivy Covered targets by 65%. And if you're going to run a stack like that, take someone like Chilled Ignis. Fire damage does double damage to those that are hit with the Ivy Covered, making it a good choice. So yeah, you can fit in a Sylvans into the team if you're doing like an Ivy Covered burn exploding. Lylene, great for healing. Dandelion, just the highest possible attacks. And Ophidia is also great too for a grass type. There's a lot of really good grass types, but Dandelion gets the win for me. Also a little note with poison. There's no poison type in the game, but poison does stack with other elements. So you can burn and poison at the same time, which is a perfect segue into fire types. Now, I love Hydrolon, one of the strongest pals in this game, and this one is very good as well. This can boost its attack by 6% for every dragon and fire type in the party. I love to run a full dragon team because there's a lot of really good dragons in this game, so they can be your dedicated fire attacker if you're rolling with a party like that. I also want to mention Renjishi here, who's got that 3777 attack, similar to Sylvans here, but it makes it so that your attacks inflict burn. Burn is a status that does damage over time, and it's really good. I also would like to throw on someone like Yormantide Ignis to this, who's got a very respectable 4060 attack, which is the same as Hydrolon Ignis here. They do have a lower defense total, but it will increase your attack power by 65% against targets with burn. This also applies to PALS, making it really great if you wanted to like throw on, let's say, have Renjishi in your party to apply burn, Yormantide increase you and your PALS damage, and then like Noclim Ignis, who is an incredible fire type here. Because look at their stats. They don't look amazing, but it's the Iron Guardian mode that makes them so good. So when they activate this, it increases their attack by 210% and defense by 210%, giving them the highest possible stats on a fire type. So yeah, Noclim just in general is a great pal, but my thoughts, I love Hydrolon Ignis, cool looking pal. If you have other dragon and dark types in your party, just be mindful that this movement speed and attack power buff is only on the base stats. So it does not stack multiplicatively with the others. However, it's good because it can be a flying mount as well, and it's dragon type, so you got good coverage there. Although same type attack bonus is only 20% in this game, it's not a major bonus, but Yeah, you can run with Renjishi, Yarmantide, Ignis, Eidolon, Ignis, and then throw on like Needle Knocked and Needle to give yourself the Ivy covered, increase damage against the Ivy covered. It does kind of, I guess you would have to take off Renjishi here. You'd be using either of those there, depending on if you want to go full fire attack or if you want to boost up burn damage here. So the two strongest fire types, in my opinion, Eidolon Ignis and Noclim Ignis. It's kind of funny, they're like variations of the other type here, and even Yarmantide Ignis is strong, but Renjishi is cool for certain setups, but there's a lot of really good fire types in this game, and fire is super effective against two types, so yeah. This brings us to electric type. Now, Orzhok got the biggest glow up in Palworld 1.0. Absolutely massive. The Ferocious Thunder Dragon. So whenever you do an attack, it increases your PAL's attack by 5% per shot. This stacks up to 30 times for 150% extra damage. This works with the drone launcher, so you can actually stack this up really quickly and easily. The combat shotgun or combat SMG as well, because it shoots very quickly. So you can get some pretty crazy damage. It's got Polycaranos, which is its own unique skill here. And it can also learn Meteor Rain. It is very powerful. It's good against dark, good against water types here. This is one of the best PALs. It is now only a World Tree PAL, but it is a very strong one. Kind of looks like Garchomp, one of my favorites, so it's cool in that regard too. It's also great at generating electricity. This is the best in slot, and you can see here it's actually a lot stronger than Azurmane, who is previously thought to be one of the best electric types. Now, electric has a lot of good synergies here that I just want to quickly mention. I'm a big fan of Hellzephyr Lux. It doesn't have the highest attack stat, but Beacon with a lower attack stat can go even faster because they increase their attack or movement speed by 25% for every electric type in your party. So if you want to do a full electric team, you can go with either of these, change your type to electric. Prickster Lux will also do that and increase it by 50%. And then you can throw on Yarmantide and Ophidia, which will soak the target, make them take more damage from this. I also personally enjoy Snock, which will apply Electrify 6 when you attack, so this will make targets take double water damage. And Electrify also like paralyzes them. And you can also pair this with Slowot, which will make it an explosion, dealing 60% of the total damage. So these can work very well together as well. But if you're looking for pure raw damage, you can't beat Orzhok here. It's just so crazy. Little asterisk, this doesn't work properly on multiplayer, his passive. If the party dies, it ends up going away. So just heads up, they'll probably patch that at some point. But yeah, Azurmane and Orzhok are two great choices. Azurmane does have some very powerful attacks with Bolt Blink and Flash Charge here. So yeah, electric attacks in general are pretty strong, and Azurmane is a good pal nonetheless, but you can't beat Orzhok. You can't. He's the strongest in a party. Focus around pal damage. You're going to want him in pretty much every setup, kind of similar to how you want Solan. Next, we're moving on to dark types. Now, dark types have some of the absolute best in the game. It's actually staggering how many good dark types there are here in Palworld because, yeah, it's an insane number. There's so many good ones. You got Crozier Noct, which increases your attack power against those that are weak to dark by 40%. We also do have pals like the, Hokrates here, which will increase dark attacks by 30%, and Demon Eye, which will also increase attacks by 30%. These are different passives, so you can get a 60% boost to your dark attack type. Again, it's nice to pair dark with other things. There's so many good dark pals. Rouge here will increase the damage to blinded targets by 65%, so you can run with some like Venusa setup, which implies blind on your attack, so you can blind them with your gun here. Then you got your entire team dealing 65% increased damage to them, and then we can also throw in like Shadow Beak, which has some pretty powerful dark attacks. Of course, your Noct as mentioned there. Even Hellzephyr is pretty sweet, changing your attack types to dark. I also am a big fan of Xenolord here, which is not a really great partner skill, but the fastest mount with the highest stamina total, so very good in that regard. But when we're looking at the strongest, in my opinion, it's probably Eidolon. I think he's really, really strong. The thing is, most of his exclusive attacks are dark type, but or dragon type, but he does get some really strong dark ones like Apocalypse here. You can also teach him like Dark Laser, Spear of Flame, Poison Shower, Dark Cannon. There's many others, but yeah, as far as dark type goes, Dark and Dragon, he gets boosted up for every dark type in your team. So if you want to do a full dark team, Eidolon's the way to go. Now, one cool thing is Frostallion Noct is super powerful because it changed your attack type to dark. It increases the attack power by 40%. And then it also applies blind 6 when you're mounted, so you don't have to run a Venusa in your party. So yeah, you can do some pretty crazy stuff with this setup here. You also have blind and poison go together, so you get the big damage reduction, damage buffs here from Rouge. Now, another really powerful dark type pal. This is the best type in the game, in my opinion. There's just so many good ones. Bella Noir and Bella Noir Libero. These two, very similar stats, just one's a little bit better at your base work, but they got different moves. Nightmare Ray, Nightmare Bloom. This is choose your poison. Either of these are great. They do have the special Nightmare Bloom attack, which is extremely powerful. My preference is Bella Noir Libero here. So again, it's personal preference between the two of these, but this one is a little bit better. And I'm also going to throw a suggestion to Celestier Noct. Now, what's crazy with this, it makes your pal take continual damage, which is not a big deal. I throw Immortality onto Idrolon here, which gives 5% life steal, auto health regen, which helps a little bit, and a 15% attack boost. Why that's so crazy? Well, you can pull this out, whatever pal's out, will lose health over time, but gets an 80% attack increase. Pair that with an Orzurk, pair that with all the dark boosts. Your Idrolon is one-shotting everybody. You can also throw a Frostallion Noct, Bella Noir, your choice. I just think Idrolon's my favorite and the best dark type in my opinion. But there's just, again, I mentioned a lot of really good ones. I just think Idrolon's the best. You could also make the same argument for Bella Noir Libero and Frostallion Noct, but this is one of the best assist Pokemon, or pals, in the game. Now, as we looked at ground types, we got ourselves Anubis. Now, Anubis also recently got a buff by nature of having Sekhmet, who boosts Anubis's work speed. I know this is about strength and combat, but yes, Sekhmet is also a great pal. Now, the thing is, between these two, Anubis has the highest possible attack. I'm also going to recommend Noclim. So same thing as the Noclim Ignis. His attack increase is only 200%. It's still amazing though, because you can activate that, get a massive buff to its attack and its defense. This thing is the strongest ground type in general. It also comes with some great move selections and Ground Cutter, which is its exclusive move. And it comes learning a lot of different ground type moves. So true strongest is Noclim. However, Anubis is really great as well because it comes with the Sand Twister, a great move. It does come with things like Ground Smash, which is its exclusive move here. You also do have others like the Forceful Charge, which is another exclusive move, and Spinning Roundhouse. So he does have 3 moves that are fantastic. Sand Twister is just, my opinion, the best for boss type enemies because it hits multiple times. But I'm also going to mention Alpha Sekhmet. Now, not sure if this is a glitch, I don't think it is, but it increases the efficiency by 400% if Sekhmet is also working on a workbench, workshop, or other related facilities. This is separate, so the comment or period at the end of here, this is just increasing its attack power or its efficiency by 400%. Compare this by taking an alpha version of Sekhmet and a non-alpha. This is one of the best base pals. And the thing is, it also has multiple exclusive skills. It's got Somersault Scratch. It also has Rolling Scratch. So it comes with 2 ground type exclusive moves. They put a lot of time and effort into that pal, you can tell. It's great for the base, but if you're looking for combat, it's Anubis and Noclim. There's a lot of other ground synergies you can do. They're just not as good as like Burn or Soak or Electrify, but yeah, those would be the top 3 in my opinion. Sekhmet it's more so for the base work, but yeah, strongest Anubis and Noclim. I will do a video, I guess, in the future where I break these down even further with more pals included, but that'd be the best. Now, looking at ice, there's 2 standouts. Frostallion, which is a very good pal. You can see here, same stats as its counterpart Frostallion Noct, just a slightly lower defense. It'll turn your attacks into ice type and inflict freeze 6 and increase the attack power by 40%. This is good because there's a lot of dragons in the game. Frostallion is your best counter. It also does come with a double Blizzard Strike. Everyone ice type can learn that. But its exclusive spell, Crystal Wing here, is extremely powerful. I prefer using double Blizzard Spike. This is just such a crazy powerful attack here. You also just have regular Blizzard Spike. You got freeze on your attacks. Holy Burst probably being the true best attack to throw on here. That's just neutral into everything. So yeah, Frostallion is an amazing pal. Bastigor though, look at this. So they have the same defense stat. Bastigor has slightly less attack, but it comes with a special hammer attack. So you can come in here, you have the Glacial Impact with its exclusive spell. Now, the thing that I wanted to mention about Bastigor is that it is the best in slot for cooling, mining, and lumbering. It can do it all. So this is one that you could want to throw at your base because it's just good at everything as well. Whereas Frostallion is just good at cold. Either of these are good if you need something to deal with dragons, so these would be the top 2. Freeze at another condition that's just not as good as like Soak, Electrify, Burn, but still very powerful. Now, as we move on to the final category, dragons. Now, there's a lot of really good dragons. Jet Dragon is still one of the best in the game. Coming with some very powerful attacks. It's got its own unique one, Beam Comment here. When you ride on its back, though, you shoot at rockets, so that's okay. I actually don't end up liking that as much as flying on the back of Hydrolon here. And if we look at them from their base stats, his stats at base are higher than Hydrolon. However, Hydrolon has better scaling when you have Dragon and Dark types in your party. Jetragon also has a higher base movement speed than Eidolon, so if you have a movement speed focused version of this, like ones that have passives like the Dimensional Leap, Swift, and Runner, Eidolon will end up losing out a little tiny bit to Jetragon at max. Jetragon's speed just ends up edging it out a little bit. But Eidolon, if you build around him, better attack and overall movement speed, and you can use whatever weapon you want on its back. So that is amazing because you can then use like something like Venusa here to apply blind while you're flying around. Jetragon is really good at gathering, 10 in that skill and fully condense. Very powerful PAL. I just think in comparison to like Eidolon, I prefer Eidolon. And if we're looking at like flyers, Xenolord has way more stamina. It's also funny because Xenolord will boost up partner skills of weapon wielding pals by 50%, which does boot Jetragon's rockets. However, the rockets kind of suck in comparison to using your actual gun. So in that regard, I would just recommend going regular. Now for dragons, there's a lot of dual types. So we have Eidolon here at max, is just so crazy. We also have Eidolon Ignis if you want to have a fire team, and you can run both Eidolons. We also can throw on Xiaolong, which is a dragon type, Yormantide or Yormantide Ignis if you want a dragon water, dragon fire, and depending on if you have soak or burn on your party. Sylvestius here is really good because it can reduce the damage taken by your shield by 80% and reduce the shield regeneration rate. So defense-based party, Sylvestius is incredible. Xenoguard's also really good because it increases your energy weapon damage by 35%. This includes things like the laser swords and a lot of the end game weapons. So this has a good slot in the table too for like a player damage build. Some other honorable mentions, Chilled Ignis, again, turning your attack type to fire, and one of the fastest swimmers in the game. If you want grass type attacks, Quiver and Botan can give you that as well. If you're going after dark types, you can throw on Blasphemous Rio here, which will increase the damage against weak enemies that are weak to dragon type attacks, so dark by 40%, worded really poorly there. If you want dragon types attacks, you can just use regular old Chilled there to change it over. I also forgot to mention Agidron for the ground type here, but this is one of the best as well. The partner skill kind of is meh. It reduces the damage from explosive attacks, makes them immune to stun, which is nice, but doesn't really feel as good for like a defensive type PAL, but this is a good attack and good defense for ground and dragon type as well. And as mentioned, Orzhok, who's, if you want to look at it from like a stat boosting perspective, Orzhok's probably the best dragon type, funny enough, just because they boost every other PAL in your party by 150%, which is insane. However, my thoughts, top 3, Eidolon is probably the best in my opinion for fast movement speed, more stamina than Jetragon, so you can use it as a mount. Great attacks. It's dragon and dark, so it's got a decent bit of coverage there for a lot of the end game farming routes. Jetragon is really close though, high attack, fun to use, and also Xenolord as well is great, Agidron, and many of the other ones that I mentioned, but I'm going to be giving it to Eidolon. Probably best dark and best dragon type, funny enough. It is a very powerful PAL, and it's easy enough to build around dark and dragon because it's the two best types as far as PALs go in the game. So yeah, this is a great choice for a lot of different setups. I did post a build yesterday where we focused on building up Eidolon's attack stat as much as possible with a team comp. It was very powerful. I'll have that linked in the comments, but let me know which of your favorites is the strongest or what you think to be the strongest in each type in Palworld 1.0 update. And I will likely do a video where I break down the top 5 per type. I need to do a bit more testing. I've spent hundreds of hours already on 1.0, but yeah, just wanted to hop on here and talk about this a bit. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe if you enjoyed, and we'll catch you in the next one.